How's it going, guys? Nintendo Enthusiast here. Today I wanted to take a trip down memory lane and react to the 2014 demo of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And this was actually before it even got a name, and over 2 years before the Nintendo Switch even got revealed. Which is pretty crazy. The game got delayed over and over, and then they just decided, you know what? Launch game for our next console. And Nintendo honestly barely even talked about the Wii U version after the Switch version was announced. But we're going to get to that. Let's go ahead and jump on into the video. I have about 10 things I wanted to talk about. First off, before I even have to click play, this is so strange. They decided to show off gameplay for one of their biggest franchises for the very first time in an off-screen gameplay demo. No native video or anything like that, just a very small off-screen shot of a TV playing Breath of the Wild. That alone is really strange and really un-Nintendo, to be honest. I don't remember any other time where they've done this, so let's go ahead and click play.
Okay, so today, why don't we show a glimpse of how the new Zelda game is shaping up?
Sure.
Oh, and it looks like it's sunset already. So we must be looking to the west.
Right. I wanted everyone to see how beautiful this scene is with the setting sun.
Oh wow, he's climbed way up high.
Yes.
First off, right off the bat, the color palette for this demo is way more saturated than the final game ended up being, and I think this shot right here is obviously supposed to invoke that classic NES artwork of Link on the hill and the sunset in the distance, and it does that wonderfully. I honestly really like this color palette. I think it looks pretty good. I do like the final game more, but I wouldn't have minded this more saturated look for Breath of the Wild. I think it looks fine. Let's continue.
Since this is such a huge world, we're making a number of high places that offer great views.
So now you could decide where to go to from here.
Right.
You can see so far.
This is a good place to look around from. And if you see, say, a suspicious-looking tower in the distance, you might decide to head there.
Right.
And then you saw that flash there?
Whoa, he set a new type of beacon.
Yes. And now the corresponding place is also marked on the map. Since Link is here now, this is the distance he needs to traverse.
So as you can see, Breath of the Wild used to actually have Wii U functions that actually got stripped out of the game. In the Wii U version, you do not have the map on the bottom screen while you travel, which would have been really awesome in my opinion. I didn't play the Wii U version, but for the people who did, I don't know why they didn't put it in there. I think it's maybe because they didn't want the Wii U version to be better than the Switch version in any way. So they basically just stripped out all the gamepad options, just so it wouldn't outshine the Switch version, which doesn't have any of those features. But honestly, I think they could have kept it in. I don't really think many people were focusing on the Wii U version after the Switch was announced and launched. Everyone was getting a Switch, and I think Breath of the Wild ended up having around like 80% attach rate. Anyway, let's continue. Rest in peace, Wii U gamepad features.
You can also zoom in from here, right?
You can, by tapping here, and you can also zoom out, and further out.
That's a huge world.
We haven't even seen the whole world yet.
This must be the edge of the map. How far are we from here to the edge of the map?
Yeah, it would take a very long time for Link to walk. But anyway, why don't we try to go to the point that we marked on the map? Let's go.
Whoa, a few. Good to know he had the sailcloth.
So this is a pretty big difference. Link in Breath of the Wild used to use a sailcloth instead of a glider. I'm not sure why they changed it. I'm thinking that they thought the glider made more sense, because if you watch this gameplay, you're going to see Link fly forward really fast, which wouldn't really make much sense if you're falling holding a sailcloth. But if you have a glider, then it's actually possible to go forward and travel through the air. And I think that's why they changed it. A sailcloth just didn't really make much sense. Not that it really has to, but a glider I think makes sense.
Right, it played an important role in Skyward Sword. Now, it'll be a bit hard to reach our destination on foot.
Now, you might have seen it just a few seconds ago. The textures on the ground honestly didn't look very good, and the final game ended up looking a lot better, which is probably why they ended up doing this off-screen demo to pretty much hide those unfinished areas of the game.
But luckily, here we have a horse.
Oh, Epona. Long time no see.
So right here they mention Epona, and I don't know if maybe there used to be one horse in Breath of the Wild instead of a bunch of them that you can tame and name, but I thought it was interesting that they specifically said Epona, because Epona isn't technically the main horse in Breath of the Wild. Any horse is the main horse in Breath of the Wild. Unless of course you use an amiibo to bring her into the game, but without that amiibo, Epona's not in Breath of the Wild.
This is a densely wooded area.
Honestly, it's not really that dense.
Yet, I'm hardly touching the control stick.
You're not touching it.
Yeah, and I won't hit any trees. Real horses don't run into trees very often.
Horses from Red Dead Redemption 2 have entered the chat.
Well, that seems natural.
We're working on details like that.
And now that your hands are free, you can do a variety of things on the horse.
Yes, you can freely change the camera angle, for example. And you can swing a sword like normal. And shoot arrows.
You can take time to aim now.
Why don't we go to a place where we can aim at enemies with these arrows?
There's insect and animal life as well. I saw apples growing here the last time.
Yeah, you can pick and eat them.
This looks a bit suspicious. We must be near a dungeon.
Near a dungeon? Did whatever build of Breath of the Wild this is have dungeons instead of shrines? Maybe, I don't know. But it is pretty interesting that he said a dungeon, because as we all know, Breath of the Wild doesn't really have traditional Zelda dungeons, which I think it was sorely lacking, and I think a lot of people agree, and I really hope we see them return in Breath of the Wild too.
In places like this,
I knew
you
it.
tend to run into these guys.
Oh, another one there. All right. Oh, I heard a metallic sound.
That sound tells you that your arrow has hit the right spot and damaged your enemy. And then in situations like this,
You can vault off the horse.
yes, while jumping, you can shoot arrows.
I see. And you're in slow motion while jumping off the horse.
Yes,
Wow, easier to aim. So how far away is our destination from here?
well, it'll still take about 4 or 5 more minutes, I suppose.
4 or 5 minutes more. Are you sure that this will be released next year?
Yes,
Liar! You dirty liar!
all of the staff members are working together and doing their best. By the way, Mr. Miyamoto, how about your Star Fox title?
What? Star Fox? You're asking me that now? No worries about Star Fox.
Oh, that's good news.
Star Fox will arrive before The Legend of Zelda next year. The way it uses the gamepad is really starting to feel good.
It never did feel good.
Oh, but before that comes out, we'll release Majora's Mask.
Right you are. We've made a number of adjustments to Majora's Mask, and it now feels pretty good on 3DS.
Yeah, we made it easier to play without altering the feel of the original game.
Deku Link has entered the chat, and he's angry because they literally did alter the feel of the original game. But I did like the graphical enhancements of Majora's Mask 3D, so I'll let it slide.
And we've worked on some places where we felt improvements were necessary.
They were not necessary.
That's right, after 10 years no less.
It's taken 10 years, but the 3-day system is intact. And it's so accessible, you could even play while chatting like this. Well, that's all for now. Thank you for watching.
And then there's the abrupt ending that I thought was pretty hilarious. But yeah, that was one of the first extended gameplay demos of Breath of the Wild, and I just think it was very strange, and I thought it'd be fun to react with it with you guys and point out some funny things that were shown in this demo that never made it to the final game, or just funny little remarks, because it looks like it changed quite a bit based on this demo compared to the final product. But yeah, that's it guys. Be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments section below. What did you think about this early demo for Breath of the Wild? Do you think there are elements from it that were awesome that didn't make it into the final game? Are you glad it changed pretty drastically in some areas? Let me know, and if you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up. If you didn't, hit that thumbs down. I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.